We hope not.
Hope not. Yes.
Let me get my top bar, and then I'm going to do something crazy. Objects saved, objects, flesh and blood.
Okay.
Is this big enough for the whole table? Nope.
Second time's a charm. All right. So
There's all the Dorinthia cards.
sweet makes it easy.
Yeah.
I am seeing them now. All
And
right.
then
So I watched
here's
your
equipment.
perfect, and then generics if you can pull them if you have them already separated from like the different sets. But I mean, worst case, we can just go through this and give you the basics. So I'm assuming that you've already dabbled in it, right? I'm sure that you've done your own research and looked online for any sort of resources like that. So if you do want to check out DM Armada has a really good how to build decks for FaB video that he put out about a month ago, and it covers like pretty much everything you need to know. So for this, like if you've watched that, I'm gonna hit on probably a lot of similar stuff.
Okay.
But if not, then this will all be new and I'll sound super smart. So basically what you want to do is start out. Let me actually flip-flop my view here. So you're going to choose your hero. And for this sake, right now there's the 3 different formats. You got Classic Constructed, Blitz, and Ultimate Pit Fight. For competitive sake, we'll just look at Blitz and Classic Constructed. There's actually been a lot
What's
of
pit fight?
So pit fight is basically it's a free-for-all where you can only attack people directly adjacent to you. We've actually done a couple on stream on Tuesday nights, and we can get guests to come on.
Okay.
It's pretty fun. It's a young hero but 60-card deck.
Interesting.
So yeah, it's actually a blast. There's lots of politics involved, and we always have fun with it. Making agreements and breaking agreements and getting people to team up on each other and all kinds of stuff. So it's a good time.
Fair.
So for this, we'll just build Blitz because that's typically a little more new player friendly and little simpler
Is
to build.
It possible that we build a standard constructed deck? Because that's the format for the event.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So where I usually start is, so we've got Classic Constructed. We know we're building Dorinthia. So I like to start just pulling out all the cards that are Dorinthia specializations. So grabbing, like grabbing all these, right? And then like the warrior. So basically Dorinthia has, I'm actually just going to search this. It'll be easier.
Sure.
So like you got Steel Blade Supremacy. So funny enough, Blake, the guy that I was telling you does all of our photoshopping, he is like our resident warrior player. So
yeah.
I am taking the knowledge from getting beat a lot by Dorinthia and applying it here.
I love that.
Just so I want to level expectations a little bit. This might not be the most prime Dorinthia deck, but a lot of it comes with playtesting too, and realizing what your ratios are for reds, blues, and yellows, and kind of seeing where you want to make adjustments. But basic rule is I like to lay out all of so that's a defense reaction. So I don't know if you know the concept behind Dorinthia, but basically reading your hero, knowing what he wants to do is going to basically help you decide what you want to include in your deck and how you want to build your deck. So Dorinthia is, from what I've seen do very well, is a go tall strategy. She throws 1 or 2 attacks at her or at your opponent, and then where she really, like, where she makes her money is in making your opponent make mistakes in decision making. So really, honestly, like, she's one of the stronger heroes, especially in Classic Constructed right now, from my perspective. But what she is capable of doing is using her attack reactions to adjust the attack that's coming in based on what your opponent does and how they respond. So you'll notice in these warrior cards, tons of attack reactions. Some have reprise. So that is a keyword that if they defend with a card from hand allows for additional benefits. So a lot of times you'll see in competitive play people overblock on Dorinthia So because they know that she
Right.
runs a lot of attack reactions. And if that's
Correct.
the case and they dump 3 cards to overblock and make sure they don't get hit, I mean, at that point, you just pass turn. Say, okay, cool. Play with 1 card in hand for your next turn. So it's there's a lot of like really fun decision making in Dorinthia. So she's
That's why I was kind of drawn to her, right? Like I've played Dorinthia. I tried to make a ranger deck, and out of all my commons and uncommons, and boy howdy, was it very hard.
Ranger's in kind of a weird spot right now, just because as one of our friends, so we play with a group from Australia as well, and as one of them said, basically Dorinthia's cards make her want to go wide, but Azalea as a sorry, I think I said Dorinthia. Azalea as a character wants to go tall because she gives that dominate ability. So it's kind of she's in a weird spot right now, but we'll exclude meta calls and everything like that for the sake of putting this deck together. But once you've looked, I'm not going to lay these out because that's just going to take forever. But what I will say is you look at these and basically determine what you want to build. Do you want to build go tall? Do you want to build go wide? For Dorinthia, I would recommend go tall. And then start looking at what cards you absolutely want to include. And I'll get out of this so you can pull stuff. It might be better for you actually to have you be able to look through this stuff.
Sure. So having played this card is great. This card is fantastic, and I'll just stack the ones that have multiple copies.
Yep.
IRL, I don't own any of this, but inside of my trial game, it was very, very strong. So I just don't have any of this guy, which is fine.
So this tournament that you're in, is it going to be TTS or webcam?
It is TTS. Yeah. So what we have today is going to be the very start of what I do.
Nice. Okay. So if you look at knowing that you want to go tall, if you look at her cards, if you just hover over them, even you can start to see like what it looks like she wants to spend per turn. Just getting a rough idea for what your costs on cards are. So I'll let you know that basically running a full play set of hit and runs for Go Again is a strong starting point. And if you determine that there's enough that gives you Go Again outside of that, just because hit and run as a card is flexible in that you can play it initially to just give the Dawnblade Go Again. But you can also, if you have another route for Go Again, sorry, route's an actual card name. If you have another way to get,
I just pulled it out. Funny.
If you have another way to get Go Again, then this could also be a great in-between swing card that's going to boost your second swing. So it's a good flexibility card. I'm not actually sure what Blake runs for his count, but I assume that it's very high. I know in Blitz he run full play sets just because that Go Again is so valuable. Because with the Dawnblade, her character lets you swing with it again, but it doesn't inherently have Go Again. So if you just swing with it, unless you have something that gives it Go Again, even though she says you can swing with your weapon attack one more time this turn, you're not going to be able to, regardless.
Correct.
So,
yeah.
All right, good deal. So looking at the general cost for things, I've seen a lot of Dorinthia builds that run pretty heavy red-yellow. With the blue Go Again hit and run. Just because a lot of her stuff, you'll notice, is like 1 or 2 cost or free. And
her weapon is only cost 1.
Cost 1 to swing with it. Yep.
Yeah.
And a lot of your attack reactions are free. There are some that it costs 1 or 2, but basically knowing how the deck plays, a huge, huge thing in this game is just tempo. And Dorinthia and Warrior in general does such a good job of gaining and maintaining tempo, because once you get ahead, you're attacking with a full hand. If they have to dump cards, which they typically do into Warrior, or if they misplay and they dump too many, they're coming back at you with 1 card. That's allowing you to keep a full hand or close to for the following turn. So a lot of times once Warrior gains momentum, they're notorious for it being extremely difficult, or they have to get very unlucky with their draws to lose momentum for them. So knowing that you're going to have a decent sized hand, it's typically safer to run a little lighter on the blue. So,
Right.
so a lot of
Especially with like how good Steelblade Shunt is on defense, right? This card like fantastic. It's crazy.
It's good. It's really good into like the ninja matchup. Of the mirror where you're gonna be based because it only works for you only get the damage to them on a weapon attack.
Right.
But it's a good defense reaction. It does cost 1, which can be kind of cloggy if you've got like a card in hand that you really want. But
I feel pay 1 for block 6 is like phenomenal though, right?
Yeah, it is. You don't want to clog up your deck with too many. Like obviously the block 6s are great, but if you hate having like 2 defense reactions in hand. So for classic constructed, I think 8 is typically what I see as the max defense reactions.
Okay.
And there are a couple pretty staple defense reactions that you want to be running. So
sure.
Generic defense reactions. So
I guess is there anything inside of the deck that I have missed that you think is a classic warrior card that I should be playing? Because me doing my own looking, all of the cards that I have out here, I'm grabbing one of these things. Okay, yeah, all of these cards are fairly strong.
Yes. So I'm just flipping through quick to make sure you haven't missed anything. Twinning Blade.
Crucial.
Twinning Blade is extremely clutch. This basically just because you have to hit with the first swing. So what Twinning Blade allows you to do, if they do manage to block out or you don't have the defense or the attack reactions to go over the top of whatever they're blocking with, you can just Twinning Blade, pull it back, and then this, if you have to go again, right? This allows you to swing with it again. It's basically the Dorinthia character ability on a stick, if you want to think about it like that. So
sure.
That's
so
nice
could this let you attack a third time?
Yes.
Oh, neat.
Yep.
Wow. As long as I've got the go again.
Correct. As long as you have the go.
I've got the action point to use it.
Yep. I know Out for Blood is a really popular card. It's good just to open with it. Or sorry. No, I'm thinking of the wrong card. But this is just a good attack reaction. Gives you +3 and an additional +1 if they defend from hand with that reprise keyword. I see that running a lot.
+4 seems good.
Iron Song Response is a really popular attack reaction. Basically, you want to shove a bunch of attack reactions in the deck. From how I've seen it built, the one that I've seen excluded the most is probably Biting Blade, which you don't have out just because it's a 2 cost. And if you're building your deck to be more red-yellow, you don't always necessarily have the resources for that, and it can feel a little cloggy. So
that makes sense.
That's good that you left that out. I think that's totally a fine call.
How do you feel about Dauntless as a card?
Dauntless is also... Oh, I'm looking at Overpower. Where we got Dauntless. I don't see it run a lot, honestly. I don't know. I think it's just a lack of deck space.
That's fair.
Just because you're already hurting them so much with hand size, like because a lot of attack reactions that are going or defense reactions that are going to be able to actually shut down a swing. Looking at like your immovables, stuff like that, like that's going to take 2 cards, whether it's their arsenal and a card from hand. So making it cost an additional 1, it can hurt if like it because it makes their free defense reactions cost 1. But I could be totally off here. Like I said, not the warrior expert by any means, but
that is okay.
I think that Dauntless is excluded just because you put on so much pressure regardless. That I think it's just seen as an unnecessary add.
And then lastly, Push Forward. I guess that's like literally the only warrior card we haven't talked about.
Yeah.
Getting Dominate seems cool. I'm not sure you need to jam a ton of it.
Yeah, I think that a lot of warrior decks just lean heavy into their attack reactions to put on that consistent over the top pressure. And I think that this kind of falls into the same category as Dauntless. There's people out there, I'm sure, that love this card and they love dominating for a giant swing. But like if you one attack reaction on your first swing, hit them for 6, and then get your second swing, like that's like the push forward's great, giving it a +1 and dominate, but you're already taking so many cards from hand.
Right.
And like forcing them, like the big thing, and I just want to reiterate, the big thing with Dorinthia is it gives your opponent so many opportunities to misplay. which
Right.
is really frustrating to play into. It's really good practice. But one that you did miss is looking at Stroke of Foresight. I can't remember.
Whenever I have played it, it
Yep.
has not felt amazing.
Okay.
Drawing the card, putting it on the bottom of my top or bottom. It's not felt great, especially at the 1 cost, right?
Yep. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, if it feels clunky to you, that's fine, especially with a 1 cost. I think if you want to exclude a 1 cost, that's probably just fine. I think that I actually don't know. All I know is that Blake has a mat with this art on it. Like, don't tell anyone because apparently that's a big no-no. But it's a gorgeous mat. But...
It is a good thing that we are not live on Twitch. That is great.
No, I've seen him play it. I couldn't tell you if it's in his final list or not. But you know what?
That's fair.
You
That's
raise
fair.
a good point. If it feels clunky to you, no need to run it. There's plenty of other cards that we can throw in there. So now that we're looking at like what these staple cards are going to be, Overpower is one that I don't think gets run very much.
Really?
Yep. Just because
it is a
the
3
cost.
cost.
Yep. Just because of the cost, and you're running so many yellows and reds, because to put on that pressure and to go over the top on them, you want the card effect. So like I don't know if it's ever been laid out for you. I can't remember. I watched that video that what was the content creator that you did that learn to play with?
That was Matt from Red Riot Games, the person who's putting on that the 2K.
Gotcha. Yeah. So he covered a lot of like really great stuff. But generally, looking at like the card design, red is going to give you your best card effect. Blue is going to give you the best resource gen when you pitch it, and then yellow is going to give you a middle ground, right? So you in this deck are running a lot of yellows and reds because you want the card effect, because your cards don't cost very much. So that's why you want to kind of avoid those high cost cards, at least in the build that we'll start with, right? If you decide that you want to run a little more blue heavy, that might not be a bad idea, just because like I don't know how prominent Wizard's going to be getting into meta after I said we wouldn't. I don't know how prominent Wizard's going to be in Classic Constructed. Super strong blitz deck, but not fantastic in Classic Constructed. It's pretty poor just with the 10 less life. So you'll see more blue in the blitz Dorinthia, but I don't think that's necessarily necessary in Classic Constructed. So Sharpened Steel is super strong. I think that this is basically it's just like I think that this is just a staple too, like just giving your next attack. So like the red will give it +3, just drop that, swing, and then it's a base.
It's like the worst hit and run.
Yeah, essentially. Well, I mean, this gives the plus. The hit and run gives the go again. It's basically like the Spoils of War. Is that the one that gives you go again? And yeah, your next weapon attack gets the plus and go again. So
wow.
Yeah, Spoils
so
of
this
War.
one seems pretty okay.
Yep, Spoils of War is, I think, for sure a 3 of.
Okay.
Let's see what you got out.
So here. let's take and table all the warrior cards, and we can come back to it. So now that oh my goodness, I keep grabbing these little guys. So I'm gonna group all these together, and we can talk about them in a second. One of the big things that I actually need help with is understanding this pile of 86 cards.
Oh, generics.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's like understanding. Hey, what do I need to run? What am I allowed to run? I literally have the world as my oyster, right? I'm allowed to play these legendaries. I'm just allowed to.
Right.
And the winner, I can actually go look at the prize support for the event. The winner not only is getting the $2,000, but it's also getting you like a playset of a ton of other stuff. Let me check.
So I'll go ahead and just pull out some of these staple cards that are going to be good to have.
So first place gets the $1,000 in a custom winners playmat and a foil playset of Enlightened Strike, foil playset of Command and Conquer, foil playset of Art of War, and a foil playset of Tome of Fendel.
Nice.
All unlimited.
That is super solid. That's a really good price.
Second place gets the exact same thing but non-foil.
Okay.
And then third and fourth get top 8 or just get the cash in top 8 mats.
Yeah. Still very solid. That's awesome pricing. All right, so these are going to be, I guess, looking at attack reactions. Dorinthia doesn't run a ton because she's so focused on her weapon, but like these get so much value that it's always worth considering in your build. So Command and Conquer, I would argue, is probably the strongest card in the game right now.
Interesting.
Just because it takes so many cards from your opponent to answer. So if this it's just a 2 cost, 6 attack, and it's not going to work with any of your attack reactions. But dropping this on somebody, say you just have like a dead turn, or you just want to build for your next turn or something, dropping this when they have a card arsenaled basically says, give me 2 cards from hand or lose your arsenal.
Yeah.
So
and there's a reason they put that in Arsenal.
Right. You have seen, if you watch some of the top play, a lot of people, like one of the plays now is throwing like a Sigil of Solace, which is an instant in your arsenal. And that way, when they drop the Command and Conquer, you just play it as an instant from your arsenal, get rid of it, and then Sigil of Solace gains you life. Typically run in red, which is +3. So you can kind of like bait the Command and Conquer out. But the fact that people are teching cards and plays in to counter this card, I think just speaks volumes about how valuable this card actually is.
How fun! This is the first mythic I pulled at the at my pre-release.
Really, that's a super solid pull.
Oh.
And then you've got, so these 2 are just solid attack action cards that will get value, a lot of value out of Dorinthia. Just the 4, because 4 is like that magic number, right? Because cards block for 3 outside of defense reactions. So basically, you're pushing some sort of damage over the top. Dorinthia, I don't know if Scar for Scar is fantastic, just because from what I've seen, she has higher life typically because she puts on so much pressure. So I don't know necessarily if this is my first go-to, but Ravenous Rabble, especially in a yellow-red heavy build, is going to push a lot of damage, and it just has go again for free. So worst case scenario, you just open with this, throw a little damage at them, and then start your sword attacks because it has that go again. So Ravenous Rabble is just extremely valuable. And then Enlightened Strike, I go back and forth on this card depending on the build. I don't know if it makes its way into the Dorinthia list just because the value that this gives, I just don't know. You could this is definitely one that I would say throw on your maybe board and play with it, see if you like it or not. It costs you a card from hand. It's free, but you have to bottom deck a card.
Right.
You get another effect off of it, but it doesn't. So one of those is go again. So you can swing, basically, you swing this, bottom deck a card, and then you can either draw a card, give it +2, or go again. So it's a 5 with go again if you need it. It's just a 5 without it, and draw 1 if you just want like a card for Arsenal for the end of your turn, something like that.
Right.
But this is I think this is probably a maybe board card for this build.
Okay.
But yeah, so these would be the 2 attack reactions that I would look at probably adding into your build. Command and Conquer, I would say, is probably for sure a 2 of, possibly a 3, but it does cost 2. You don't want it to clunk too bad.
Right.
So I would throw 2 in there, see how you like it. If you like it a lot and it's coming clutch in your testing, throw a 3rd in there, see if it bogs you down too much. But yeah, like I said, Dorinthia, she gets so much value out of those attack reactions. You really want to lean heavy for that in your deck.
And for my attack reactions, am I allowed to use all my non-weapons?
No, I'm pretty sure all of the warrior attack reactions, and there are attack reactions that you can use on attacks, like just normal attacks, but I'm pretty sure Dorinthia's
Target weapon attack is +3. Okay.
Dorinthia's or the warriors typically specify that it's going to be a weapon attack. So that's it for these. The next thing I would look at would be defense reactions.
Okay.
And the nice thing about Classic Constructed, so I don't know if you've had anyone hit on this with you, is that you can build out an 80 card deck and you pre-sideboard.
Oh.
So you have 80 cards and then you take out however many you want. Your final deck has to have 60 plus. But for consistency's sake, you usually pull out as close to 60 as you can manage in that matchup.
Right.
But basically, you reveal your hero, and then you and your opponent take your 80-card stack of cards and flip through and pull out what you don't want. And then you select the equipment that you want to run, based on the matchup. So you'll see a lot of people that, at least in Blitz, because that's primarily what we've been playing in our group, and because that's what the calling was. It's been a lot of like the focus on competitive play has been Blitz recently.
Right.
What you'll do is reveal the hero. Each of you and your opponent will take cards out until you have at least 60 still, and then select your equipment, and then shuffle up and play. So you get that opportunity to sort of pre-sideboard. You got 20 cards to toy with. Maybe you run some, like I love Irina's Prayers as a sideboard card, because if Wizard does come at me, or a Viserai,
right,
basically it's an instant that you pay 1 and you prevent 6 minus X or 5 minus X or 4 minus X, depending on the color of the next arcane damage that you'll take. So that's just a nice card that I'm not playing someone that deals arcane damage. Cool. Just coming right out of my deck, and I'm down to, 72 cards I got to parse through. So
how interesting.
Yeah, and your weapons and armor are included in that number. Your hero is not. So you can have 81 cards total, including your hero.
Okay.
And that includes the weapon and armors. Because some people will tech, like in Ninja, you'll tech different weapons, because Ninja's got the Kodachis, but they also have the Zephyr Needle. So in the Wizard early on, they were teching the Zephyr Needle because if the Wizard wasn't running defense reactions, it was basically a free 2 swing or a free 3 swing on Ira instead of a 1 swing from the Kodachi. So just stuff like that you can toy with a little bit.
That makes sense. So defense reactions besides the warrior one.
Yep.
What would you suggest?
I would throw unmovables in there. I would probably put. Do
you want to pull those out for me? Because I do not know what they look like.
See them? Are these all the generics?
They might be. I believe so.
Okay. I'm going to scroll a little slower through them. And see.
Oh, you know what? The defense reactions are over here.
Oh.
I had broken it down even further.
Nice. Look at you being all smart and stuff. So, Sink Below is a really solid defense reaction. It just allows you to cycle. So if you arsenal that, which if you think that they run Command and Conquer, or they look like a deck that probably a lot of decks are going to run Command and Conquer, to be honest with you. So you want to be careful, because you can't play defense reactions to that chain link of Command and Conquer. So if you get stuck with this in Arsenal, it just feels bad. But if you do play this, you get to choose a card from hand, put it at the bottom of your deck, draw a card. So basically just lets you cycle if you were missing a piece. Unmovable is going to be a card that you're going to want in for the Mirror, for Warrior, for Azalea, just because they're go tall decks. But if you're playing Ninja, for the most part, you don't want to get stuck with a 3-cost defense reaction in hand. Depending on the Ninja that you're playing. If it, that's, you can't tell that before a game. But from what I've seen, a lot of Ninja decks are just go wide. At least mine is. I main Ninja. That's my bread and butter, my baby. And then Springboard Somersault is just a super solid defense reaction too. So this is one where if it's in Arsenal, you play it, it's a 4. But the nice thing about Springboard is it's free and it pitches for 2. So it's a little less cloggy than like a Sink Below, but still giving you the same 4 block if it's played from Arsenal.
Right.
So
yeah, I love that.
Yeah, unmovables. I think you got to put 3 in your main board, because if you go up against a Guardian and you know they're just gonna like swing tall on you, like really tall with I'm spacing on his name, Bravo.
Yeah,
like he can set up, like he kind of telegraphs a little bit when he's gonna have his big turn. So if he can hold this and wait, it's gonna save you a ton of damage. So I think you gotta have that in your 80. I put that as a play set, and then I don't know how much Warrior actually wants to cycle, because I feel like they, depending on how you build it, right? So Sink Below, I think, gets more value out of decks like Katsu, who need certain pieces. So if you are missing a piece, or you got bogged down with like too many reds, you can Sink Below, pitch a red, hopefully pull a yellow or blue. So for the pitch that you might be looking for the next turn, Sink Below might be valuable.
Right.
But I think that Springboard and Unmovable are definitely in your 80.
Okay.
Sink below. I would toy with the red and yellow. See which one you like more. If you need the resources, obviously go yellow. If you think that you're fine running, if you get a hand of like a yellow and 3 reds and you can still do what you want to do on your turn, I think that you can probably manage to keep the red.
Okay. And so the idea here is when it comes to figuring out which one that you use, you care more about the pitch costs than the ability itself when it comes to defense reactions?
Yeah, because I think that hurts you more than taking, especially in Classic Constructed, you're looking at 40 life starting, right? So
Right.
if you end up taking an additional damage, even like against Azalea, who's going to have a negative effect, if that one damage, like, yeah, it probably feels better to block all of it, but even just stopping 3 and getting the cycle, I think that negative or that detriment is outweighed by the fact that you're not going to get clogged down as easily by drawing a hand of red cards. Because even in Dorinthia, who is pretty resource efficient, her stuff doesn't cost a ton, having a hand of red never feels good. Because you're just not going to be able to do everything you want to. Or it's like, oh, I'm 1 resource away. So that type of thing can be pretty painful. But yeah,
that makes sense.
Those for defense reactions, you got your generic attack reactions that I'd look at. And then we went through the Dorinthia cards themselves. At this point, it's just kind of playing with ratios of how much you want to run of each. I would do whatever I could to include any sort of attack boosting attack reactions for Dorinthia specifically.
I've thoroughly enjoyed Razor Reflex.
Yep.
Right.
Oh, you got more. You got generic attack reactions over here. I didn't even see those. Let's look at those. Make sure. Yeah, Razor Reflex is solid. It's not going to inherently give your weapon go again, but if you run like if you've got like an Enlightened Strike and can drop this on the Enlightened Strike and give it go again after making it 7 with its ability, like that, I mean, that's a solid combo. But yeah, Razor Reflex is a really solid. I don't know. Yeah, no, that's good.
The other attack that I saw being played is Snatch. Any interest?
How did I miss that? Was that Blitz or Classic Construct? I feel like Snatch is good. Like there's no denying that.
Snatch, it was a constructed deck that I bought and that I have now trimmed down because we played Blitz at locals.
Okay. Yeah, I know Snatch is super valuable in the Blitz meta right now because it'll give you that card draw after it hits. So if you want just to elongate your survivability against Wizard, which was the big scary in this last format, if you swing with that first and get to draw that additional card, say that you had to defend with, because a good Wizard's going to know the matchup and attack on their turn so that they're taking cards from your hand in certain matchups. And if you are one of those that, you know, that's what they're going to be doing, being able to open with this Snatch and draw an additional card when it hits, is just going to allow you to prolong your survivability against Wizard. But I don't... drawing a card's always good. The lack of inherent go again, it's probably good paired with if you're running Razor Reflexes. But I tend to lean away from needing to see 2 cards in your hand in order for them to get you a good benefit. So I would say if you have the deck space for Snatches, because you run the Razor, add them. See if you hit that combo enough. But with only a 4-card hand, I hate being like, oh, the Snatch would be great, but like now if I do that, it might be good to follow up. Okay, I'm gonna rescind that because now that I'm thinking about it, your first sword attack, if you can just follow up with a Snatch and pull a card to be able to arsenal for your following turn, that's pretty solid. So I would probably look at running a Snatch.
Okay. And then the last attack that he played was Flock of the Featherwalkers.
Yeah, Blake was toying with that recently, actually. So the one, because you have to reveal a card, right? Cost 1 or less.
Yeah, which we have a ton. We have so many.
Yeah. I could see that too. This is valuable because it gives you that quicken token. So Blake has been testing with this as well. So that's probably definitely worth looking at.
Okay.
Again, I wouldn't skimp on your attack reactions that are going to let you do what she does. But with that remaining deck space, yeah, that's definitely worth looking at, because on the turn, because so many of your attack reactions or just generic actions, warrior non-attack actions will just give you go again. That this quicken token from the games that I've played against warrior,
right,
didn't always seem necessary, but being able to throw this out and have it, because it doesn't go away, you just have it for the game, for maybe you get a dead hand or a hand that isn't going to give you the push that you need to maintain that momentum that you've had all game.
Right.
That quicken token might do work. So yeah, that's a good.
It's
call
like
too.
it's another copy of the boots or the greaves that you have for her.
Yeah.
Which I've in the very few games that I've played with my girlfriend, those greaves were very clutch in specific instances. So being able to to secondhand that off of a grab is good.
Yep. And then
now tell me about the power of instants.
So
because they seem pretty strong, huh?
Yeah. So instants, from what I've experienced, see a lot more play. It depends though. They see a lot more play in Blitz because you've got sigils running around. And a lot of decks were running 2 to 4 sigils, which are just instants gain life. And if you run the full set of the 2 red, 2 yellow sigils, and you get them off during the game, you're basically playing a Blitz game at 30 life instead of 20 life. So
makes sense.
So that can be extremely valuable. In Classic Constructed, I don't know that I would run more than like 2 or 3. And I don't know that I would run any in Warrior, because it's just going to clog your hand. The valuable sigils are the reds and yellows. And even though we're going to be heavy on reds and yellows for the attack reactions, you don't want to only run reds and yellows. You want some blues in there too, with like your tertiary cards, let's say. So including too many like supplemental cards that are also red or yellow are going to slow down your hand a little bit or slow down your pressure, and that's something that Dorinthia does not want to do. I don't know that you need to run sigils in Dorinthia in Classic Constructed, just because of how much pressure she naturally puts on.
Right. Honestly, I'm not even interested in it. If we're gonna be honest, like it sounds cool to like fight this Command and Conquer thing. Like that sounds fine. But I don't know. I feel like I'd rather just like have things that are more proactive to my game plan as opposed to heal life.
Yeah. And that was specifically Blitz tech, just because like a 6 damage and destroying that's like a game swinging play, just dropping this.
Right.
So in a 40 life game, not so much.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I think honestly, looking at what we've kind of pulled out here, if it were me looking at the defense reactions, so you've got the Steel Blade Shunts, I would probably run those in I want to say you probably run them in yellow and blue. Leave the reds out just because blocking for 6 is fine, but on the games that you are going to need big defense reactions into those matchups, you're going to have your unmovables in your 60.
Right.
So
that makes sense.
Yep, and you want to keep it to about 8. I would maybe drop it a little bit for Dorinthia. Maybe like you run
less than 8?
7. Yeah, because I would say
at
7
that
to
point
9 is what you
7 to 9.
Yeah.
At that point, why run Snatch if the goal of Snatch is to go and find these cards I want to arsenal, right?
You don't always necessarily want to arsenal your defense reactions just because of the existence of Command and Conquer. Because say you've got an unmovable arsenaled, and I drop a Command and Conquer, it's like you're still blocking with 2 non-defense reactions because you can't play unmovable to this chain link.
Right.
And then if you don't, I'm destroying your unmovable. So it's a little risky to play that. I don't know how intense the competition is going to be, or like how new that play group is that's playing up there. It sounds like the prizing is probably going to bring out some strong players with good decks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
which is why I asked for help from an expert, you know?
I would not say I'm an expert, and unfortunately this is not my forte in Warrior, but I think if I give you enough tools, you're a good card game player in general. You'll be able to mess with it and figure out what's working and what's not. So
that is fair.
Again, before the comments blow up below, don't crucify me for just butchering this Dorinthia list.
Hey, this card's nuts, right?
I like it in Ninja. It is. So for those that don't know, it's basically a modal card. It's got 4 different options. You spend the one, it's an instant, and then you get to choose 2. All of your attack action cards gain a damage and a defense. Your next action card you play gains go again. Until the end of your turn, you can defend with attack action cards from your arsenal, which is nice because if you got something clogging that up, that's great. Or you can banish an attack action if you do draw 2 cards. Art of War is great. I don't think it fits in Dorinthia because she doesn't run a ton of attack actions, and that's what causes a lot of these abilities to proc. So because it's only attack reactions. Yeah. So I would be careful of that. Super fun card. I like it. I kind of bounce around. It leaves. I kind of bounce around with it in my ninja builds, but let me search this as well just to see what else we got in here.
Yeah, it doesn't look like.
I don't know in Classic Constructed if Irina's Prayer is worth running in the 80. It might be. Like
so when you say running in the 80, right?
Yep.
You so that is your main deck, and then you can pull any number of those cards out. And I have an additional sideboard as well.
Nope. It is your side. So it's 80 card deck. That's what you take to a tournament, and then before each game, you can slim it down as far as you want to a minimum of 60.
Gotcha.
And that's after they reveal their character. So you don't get to see their equipment or weapon or anything. But after they reveal character, you take out whatever cards you don't want in your 80 to a minimum of 60. So what I actually, if you got the space in the 80, I would probably run 3 red Irinas. Just because if you do come into like a wizard matchup or someone running Viscerai and they're trying to go for that OTK, like seeing an Irinas could save you. And then you're going to be taking out a 1-turn kill.
Yeah. They have that in this game.
Yeah, Viscerai. I actually am running I'm having a lot of fun with a Viscerai Blitz OTK.
They can do 40 damage?
Oh, I think OTK is used a little more vaguely in this game. In Blitz, yes. In Blitz, my max damage I've output in a single turn of the Viscerai was 34.
What the heck?
Or 35.
Insane.
Yeah, so it's hard to get to the 40 in Viscerai. Yeah. But I think that there are still like attempted OTK Viscerai decks. I haven't looked at Viscerai in Classic Constructed. I'll be honest, he doesn't really interest me just because Ninja is pretty viable in Classic Constructed. It's not like tier 0 or anything, but it's more fun, and he's my boy. So whenever he's somewhat viable, I'm going to run Katsu. But yeah, so this is kind of where I would start. Where's that stack that you had of your good 40?
Yeah, it's all down here. In the bottom. Yo, which of these legendaries do I play?
Let's see. Opting's gonna be great. So not Arcanite Shard.
What?
So let's see here.
Yeah, hit me with the tome. What is going on here?
This is actually standard in our UPF matches. So
say that again.
In our Ultimate Pit Fight matches, this is kind of just like it's not you don't run it in 1v1. Because it's nice, but it just cycles your hand, which why not just include something that you'd want to see in your hand in the first place?
Right.
And it's just a one-of. So basically...
And it doesn't have a pitch cost.
It doesn't, so it gets you no resources. You just play it and then draw a card because it's not going to be in your graveyard yet. So there's 0 plus 1. So you could draw a card when you play it. Then if your opponent happens to have a tome, I guess, which they won't because it's not good in 1v1, they would get to draw 2. But yeah, I would not run this. Heart of Fandal. I almost exclusively see Eye of Ophidia run just because the Op 2 can be so strong.
Right.
But people might crucify me, say Heart of Fandal is just really what Dorinthia needs. I don't think so. I haven't heard that. I think that Eye of Ophidia is probably what you go with.
Okay. I'm into it.
Yep.
And then lastly, we've got these cards up top, the ones that have cash in. Is there anything in here?
Here we go. So you've got
Plunder Run, Lead the Charge.
I was wondering. I was not seeing
some
of the cards I was looking for. Potions can be solid and Classic Constructed. I think that there's nothing wrong with testing like an energy potion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that. I mean, I know Blake doesn't run time snaps or potion of strengths. I think he maybe messed with some energy potions at one point or another. Again, I don't hate testing them because they're 3-pitch, 0 cost. So at the worst case scenario, you're pitching it for 3 resources if you don't want to play it. If you get go again on your sword and just want to drop, and they dump their hand, it's like, cool, I'm just gonna drop an energy potion, have 2 resources essentially floating until I pop it, it's probably pretty nice in a red yellow centric deck.
Yeah.
Toma Fiendal can be pretty game changing. You might want to just test that at some point, because if you can arsenal that and then just if you play that from hand and you can just all of a sudden pump your life up. I don't know as what Dorinthia wants to do, because again, she just puts on so much consistent pressure that so much of this game is determined by momentum, and losing it is terrible and can set you way back. Regaining it can put you back in a game that you were just getting pummeled in. So taking a turn off to do something like a Toma Fiendal or to drop an energy potion is pretty risky, just because, like, again, Dorinthia's attack reactions, they just put on so much pressure and force so many misplays that if you can capitalize on that, you're going to be in a good spot. You're not going to care that you don't have 2 resources. You're still going to be able to put on the pressure with your 0 and 1 cost attack reactions. So, the one that I would say I have the greatest possibility of being totally wrong on might be an energy potion in Classic Constructed, just because having the 2 resources floating for if you do draw that red hand, or, and it doesn't feel bad because you can pitch for 3. Someone might comment and be, sorry, I actually just saw a comment. So one of our subscribers, Gift of Chaos, pointed out that Shunt versus Unmovable is actually a pretty valid point. Like, the Unmovables, I still think you include 2 or 3 of the red Unmovables in your 80. But Shunt, he points out that it is just 1 cost versus 3, and it's still a really high block. So worth noting there as well. Thanks, Gift. And so Energy Potion probably feels the least bad of all of these. Crazy Brew, that's more of a... I hate dice. I will never run any dice in a card game where I'm allowed to not run dice.
That is fair.
Played Star Wars Destiny, and dude, if I got to build a deck with probabilities in mind is on top of like just the statistics of drawing what I need, I'm out.
That is fair.
That's a personal preference.
This is a fantastic starting point. Yeah. I think I can make some very good initial decisions in deck building because of this. So thank you.
So I leaned a little low on defense reactions because of what Dorinthia does. You might do a little research on your own and see that people are running 10 or 11, but I don't think it's not going to be more than that. I don't think that you run that many. And a lot of my most recent experience with like meta and stuff is in Blitz, unfortunately. So you might want to just fact check me quick before you go all in on what I gave you for ratios.
That is totally okay. Yeah, that's totally fine. One of my favorite things is to be wrong. I love being wrong.
Getting corrected on something and finding out, like, that's probably one of the best parts about live streaming every Tuesday, is that people in chat will point stuff out. Like, funny enough, like Gift of Chaos, like, he joins us almost every Tuesday. And like, just the fact that we've got people that'll say, hey, you ever think about this? Or you misplayed this, you should have looked for this, and whatever it is, like, that helps so much. Like, it does not hurt our feelings. So love it. But yeah, hope it helped.
Yeah, for sure. Let me hit you. I mean, literally the last question. We've got equipment. Should I run? What should I not run?
Yep. All right. Perfect. So, looking at warrior equipment, let's just pull out all of the warrior specific stuff. Looks like this is all generic. Nope. Boom. And let's see. I've seen that. I've seen search this instead. I've seen that.
Dane, what's your Twitch?
I don't have a Twitch channel unless like just any subscriber has a Twitch channel. But
Right.
we have not streamed on Twitch or anything like that ever.
Oh, okay. Have you just been on YouTube?
Just rocking YouTube for now. I was actually one thing I wanted to pick your brain about afterwards if you got some time, but we've never done anything on Twitch and kind of looking at expanding out a little bit as we're getting a little bigger. So
For sure.
yeah. Make sure I'm not missing anything. So refraction bolters gotta run. Like it just gives you it gives you that go again. You need that. I've seen Arcanite Skullcap in Blitz a lot, just because it gives you that arcane barrier as well, which is super nice. I think Courage of Bladehold is her chest piece, and I think that you run that in Blitz just because of the free or the discounted swings on a turn where you really need it. In Classic Constructed, you're going to get more value out of Fandal's Tunic. Every 3 turns, you get a free resource, basically.
Yeah.
So it just ticks up. That's the play, I think. And then the Brave Forge Bracers, just to give that plus when you need it. It's a good arm piece. And basically, you're looking at, between all of this right now, 1, 2, 3, possibly 4, 5, 6 armor in just just 6 block in just your armor right now. That's another thing that's super frustrating about playing into Warrior, especially as a ninja, is that I gotta account for the fact that basically my first 6 Kodachi swings are gonna get blocked by armor. And then so like the Brave Forge, it's got Battle Worn, so it just loses 1 marker, basically 1 block after it's used the first time, and then blocks for another 1, which is nice. Same with
so
the Arcanite.
if it goes to 0, does it break?
No. So Battle Worn does not. There's 3 different keywords as it stands right now for armor. There's Battle Worn, which you just, every time you block with it, you lose a marker. And then once it's at 0, it just doesn't block for anything. There's also, if you look here, you've got, this is my baby. You've got Blade Break, where it doesn't matter how many it blocks for, the moment you block with it, it breaks and is no longer usable, including the effect. So you destroy it once you block with it once. And then as sort of an intermediary, you've got Temper, which when you block for its last one, it then breaks. And you got Temper on this.
Okay.
So block the first time, loses a marker, and then when you have 0 block left, it breaks at that point. So, but yeah, all of the Warrior stuff, so great, doesn't break. So
yeah, except
for Fiendos. Fiendos does. You block with it for 1, it's gone.
Yeah,
but it just gets you so much value. That's like end of the game, need to prevent 1 life to be able to push your final damage through. Throw it out there.
Makes sense.
This would be what I run.
So when it comes to sideboarding equipment, do you think that I should have any sideboard equipment, or just let this rock?
The one thing you're gonna need is probably, just in case you do run into the wizard, is you're gonna want 1 piece of Null Rune, and I think the least valuable piece of armor in your set right here is probably gonna be the bracers. I think that's probably what gets swapped out. Let me actually read it quick to make sure I'm not. +1, activate this ability. I don't know how valuable that is. I'm not saying like in a negative way. Like I don't know if it's valuable, take it out, but I genuinely don't know if this is used a ton. I feel like I see it used pretty often, fairly often in Blitz.
I like it in order to push that second attack through to get the +1 on Dawn Blade, right?
Yep, that's fair. If you got the extra resource. This you can't take out, not losing the bolters. The helm has arcane if you're at less life. Problem with that is that a lot of times classes that deal arcane are going to be lower than you and try to hit you for like a big amount, so that might not always be on, and if that's the case, you're kind of caught with your pants down.
Right.
Tunic gives you so much value over the course of the game in just that additional resource, especially in Classic Constructed where you're playing 12, 13, 14 turns, like even plus sometimes, that you're going to see multiple resources come out of this Tunic. I would assume that this is probably what you pull. That, or maybe there's an argument to be made for not needing it and just relying on the Skullcap to start stopping arcane once you do drop below them. But
Right.
I don't know. Not having played it, this is what looks right. So this would be like your sideboard, these 5 pieces. So you, after having these 5, you're looking at 75 cards that you can
That I can have in my main board.
that you can have in your 80 card deck that are going to let you play around with the ratios and stuff like that. So
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, yeah, let me do you do your local play on tabletop, or do you do webcam, or what do you normally do?
So we stream webcam, and we've been playing. We've been testing a lot on webcam. We have done, testing a lot on TTS.
Okay.
We have. Oh shoot! I think I misspoke. We've been streaming on TTS, and pretty much everything we do is on TTS. We did do streams on webcam for a couple weeks, like a month ago, just because we really want to play with real cards, and it had been, I don't know, like 4 months since we played with our actual cards. So we're like, we're doing it. Let's make it happen. But TTS is just so convenient for being able to say, okay, I want to swap out this. Like, this doesn't work. Quick load your deck from FaBDB, which if you don't use, you should. That is definitely like the best resource for this game, just allowing you to see your ratios when it's all said and done. Like, they've got the analytics for your deck as well available. Have you heard of that website?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't have this information of where to start, right?
Yeah. So if you're using that, great site, really user friendly. And then I actually have used more recently when I'm, being a loser and don't have friends online to play with. They've got, if you're a Patreon, it's cheap, but I would recommend it. They've got great stuff available to patrons. Is you can do like test draws and like play with your deck, like actually see like what draws will look like 2-3 turns into the game. And then they've also got different card backs if you want to flex a little bit in your TTS.
Rad.
Yeah.
Rad. Yeah, this has been very educational. If you guys are ever looking for an extra and I've got the free day, I would love to come out and throw some hints.
Absolutely. We're always looking for people to kind of hop in and join us when they can. We typically try to keep it to like 1 to 2 unless we got like a UPF planned or something. But no, it's a blast to have guests on. So yeah, we'll keep an ear to the ground and let you know when we got spots. And then for anyone listening on your Twitch, just before we jump over to Universus, quick shout out if you are interested in FaB at all. I'm assuming you are if you're watching this. We do every Tuesday 9:30 Central. Me and typically Blake and Jason will just get on TTS, start streaming, and knock out 6, 7, 8, depending on how chomping at the bit we are for testing. Blitz classic constructed games from like 9:30 to midnight. We'll just that's like our late night. Get some games in.
Rad. Yeah. For sure. Last thing, what's the YouTube channel?
YouTube channel is Outcast Haven. So just Outcasts plural without the apostrophe. Haven, Haven. So all one word. And it's just a circle. I wish I had like my logo I could toss up. But,
hey, that is okay. There will be a link in the description in my YouTube video down below. Are you ready to play some Universus?
Dude, I'm so pumped. I've been so excited for this stream in general, just because any opportunity to like grow the community, especially when it's like another content creator that's gonna have people that are interested follow them and watch like their stuff. I love spreading FaB because it's such a good game, and it's so much fun to play. Like I've played like competitively, bought in a lot, probably 5 different like serious card games in my life, and this is. It's refreshing because of the change of pace. It's much more like chess-like than a lot of the other card games I've played. And yeah, it's just any opportunity for that. And then on top of that, I get to learn like some more intricacies of Universus. Like this stream is like everything I could want.
Well, good. So are you looking to play in that online playtest event? Is that what your goal is? Or did you want to look at like actual standard deck building?
I would like to look at actual standard deck building. Okay, let me rephrase that because I know that MHA is going to be its own format, and at least at the beginning, our channel is going to focus on the MHA format, just because
Okay.
we've got a lot of people interested. I know that Universus doesn't have a huge, at least in our subscriber count, they don't have like a huge player base. So I think
Right.
to transition them over, or just to like gain interest in it, we're just going to focus on the ease of entry MHA set. Because looking at, I actually have like, I've got like a Yoshimitsu deck. I had a Goro deck before he got banned, where I was running my missile launchers and stuff. But like it's so daunting to look at like 12 years of cards, and granted standard's smaller, right?
Oh.
But
Yeah.
just knowing that you can just buy this set, this product, and be in it in this format, and have everything you need to play competitively in this format, I think is what interests us.
Well, then here's what we will do. You ready? We will go ahead and just jump to the playtest table, right?
Sure.
I'm gonna change where I'm sitting to better represent, or to better show off the stream. And here is the disclaimer: everybody in the entire community, we have no idea if these are My Hero cards or not. We are all assuming. We're assuming that these are My Hero playtest cards. We do not know.
And you're assuming
and
these
so
are for. Sorry, these are assuming these are like follow-on sets, right? Like set 2 or like the what do you call those? The DLCs.
Correct. Yeah. That's what we're assuming. We have literally no idea if these are actually My Hero cards or not.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's all an assumption. So with that said, have you read any of these cards?
I watched you do your quick deck building and like play test like a session like last week or something like that.
Okay.
And I'll be honest, like you just when you were building it, like not a knock on you because I know that you're just like play testing and knocking stuff out, but you're just kind of grabbing stuff and putting it in a pile and copying pasting it to make your play set and kind of rolling with it. I didn't get an opportunity to really do a lot of research on these cards, but
okay, that's totally fair. That's totally fair.
So I just got I've never seen this before. Wants to open a URL. We're just gonna go ahead and open, I guess. See what it does. Oh, down here. Gotcha. All right, cool. Sorry. It's got an alert popped up.
Oh, on tabletop?
Yeah.
That's this is supposed to be a change log, but there's been so many changes that the person has not been able to keep up.
Fair enough.
So my question is, it says you said you like to do ninja. So do you like to go tall? You like to go wide? What are you feeling?
So historically, I like tempo decks. Whether that game it's like a mid-range build. Some games like their tempo decks are more control-y, but right. I like that mid-range tempo control.
Absolutely. Okay. You said the C word, and so let's talk about the best control deck inside of this set, and it's PB and J. And so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna decide for you, just because I know what the cards are in the playtest. Yeah, we're going to grab any of the cards that have the all symbol, the little red circle.
Yep.
Everything else we're just going to turn sideways and get rid of. We don't need any of these cards, right? Yep. So now from here we get to take and to figure out what this guy wants to do.
Sweet. To clarify, it's strict symbol building, right? So like you need to determine a symbol, and you can't do like the off symbol chaining into other symbols like you could in traditional standard, right?
Correct. That is exactly how that works.
Perfect.
Yeah, inside of standard, you can kind of go crazy with however you want to build. For the ease of jumping into the My Hero format, they have opted to limit that design space.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Yeah. It will also make things a little safer when it comes to making cards later, right? Because maybe this off-symbol card is insane into your void deck, but you're playing out of the decibel or whatever. Okay, so what does PB&J do? Before the game begins, you start with 3 copies of Slice in a Triangle from your deck into your discard pile. That's this card, so we're just gonna 4 of this real fast. Yep. It's on our character. We gotta play it. Discard a non-action card. The action cards are the blue ones.
Yep.
In order to give +2 speed or -2 speed, and then add a copy of Slice into Triangles from your discard pile to your hand. So before we get started, read Slice into Triangles.
Yep. Seal one rival asset or foundation. I'm assuming rival is the term for your opponent.
Correct.
If your character is powerful, brooding juggernaut, seal your rival's character, remove the card from the game. So powerful, brooding juggernaut. So you basically get to is sealed for 1 turn.
Sealed is for until the end of the turn, correct?
Until the end of the turn. So basically, they don't get their. So if you're playing like a scorpion, like they don't get their enhance, like all that stuff that they get to do
don't get
defensively.
It 4 times because we've got 4 sliced into triangles in our deck.
Yep. Okay. Cool.
So on 4 select turns, we just turn their character off. It's like we stare at them and take their quirk away or something. I don't know.
This is great because, like, this is from. Oh no, it's not. Never mind. You get to add it to your hand from your drop. So I'm assuming that you want to run other actions in your deck, just because you want to be able to pull this back. Because if you check one of these, you can pull it back, and yeah, okay, that's cool. Makes sense.
Yep. And then lastly, response commit. After you play an action card, draw 2. We're already discarding cards out of our hand. This is kind of a refresh us, but we don't get to go minus or plus speed and then pick those cards up anymore.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
Yeah, there's the question. Okay, so we are a combo deck. If you look at the keyword that we have here, we have got combo. We've got combo weapon. The big thing that matters.
Very ninja-like. I like it. All right.
Yeah. What matters here when we have the combo keyword is if we have, we'll do Wonder Bread Slicer. When it comes to the words inside the parentheses, when we look into our card pool, we have to have that combo requirement directly beforehand, directly in front of it.
And the requirement is in parentheses. So it's
correct.
So I need to have a combo preceding Wonder Bread Slicer in order to get the combo enhance. Okay.
If this was our card pool, the lower one down, I've got Ultimate Decruster, which is ranged weapon combo, and then I've got Wonder Bread Slicer. We've got combo requirement is combo. I'm allowed to play the combo enhance on the card. Imagine it as a gate, right?
Okay.
And this is the way that I think about it. Is if as soon as you have the combo requirement fulfilled, the gate opens and you can play the enhance normally. Okay. As soon as that combo requirement is not open, well, now the gate has been shut. It still exists on the card. It's just grayed out text. You're just not allowed to play it because the gate is shut.
Yep, makes sense. So combo doesn't inherently have any effect other than turning on enhances that have combo in it, or other. Okay, gotcha. Reactions or whatever, maybe. Okay.
And it has to be the thing directly before it.
Yep.
Right. All right. So, for my last big example, Smucker's Sticky Helping has the kick and combo keyword, but it has combo with a weapon. So if I did this, I can't combo because this card does not have weapon.
Got it. Okay, makes sense.
I get to combo this one, but I can't combo this one.
Yep, makes sense. I'm with you.
All right. So from here, we now get to take and look at. So one of the beautiful things about the My Hero format is because of how small the sets are, and this is going to change for the future as sets start to come out. If you want to, it's very easy, and the design has been super cool. That if you want to just take these, all of the support that exists, and just 4x all of it, you have pretty much most of your deck. From there, it's filling in these little holes, right?
Yep. So I've heard that there's differences between like Universus or old UFS standard and like the deck building for My Hero. Is it a smaller deck size, or what's that look like?
So when it comes to the deck building requirements, we've already touched on the fact of singular symbols, right?
Yep.
The other big change from standard is that it is 50 card minimum decks as opposed to in standard is 60. So 50 for the My Hero format, 50 plus.
50 plus,
and that does not include your character. So it'd be 50 cards and then plus your character.
Got it.
If that makes sense.
Okay. Yep, makes sense.
Yeah. So what we're going to do nice and easy is let's just take and let's look at what each of these cards do. And then if you like a card, we'll leave it straight up. If we don't like a card, we will turn it sideways. So I'm going to let you do that, and I'm going to lay out the rest of the all cards. Okay?
Yep. All right. So I definitely...
Read it out loud for the streams.
Got it. Yep. All right. So we'll do this. So we got Wonder Bread Slicer. The combo enhance is Seal 2 Foundation in your rival's stage. The normal enhance is this attack gets +1 damage for each sealed card in your rival's staging area or stage. So I like that. It's a 4 check, right? Typically
Difficulty.
played 4 difficulty. Yep. So 4 difficulty typically played probably 3rd, just because you want a combo prior to it, and you probably want that combo to go off, right?
Correct.
So that's gonna be, I don't know what the checks are gonna look like in the deck. But anyways, so as just looking at the enhances, seems solid. We'll hold on to that guy. I love Moms Like You GIF Spreader. I love that because it lets you discard, draw 2, and it lets you basically set your slice into triangles into your drop, and like maintains that card advantage because you get to play this then from. Sorry, I used drop. That's Dragon Ball Super
You're
term.
totally fine. You're good.
Discard area sort of lets you keep that value because you're going to be able to then play this, and you're not effectively losing 1 less card, which is nice. Enhance, if you have played an action this turn, this attack gets +2 speed. Love that because you're probably going to run some actions in this deck.
Well, we have to run the 4, right? Because of
The
slice.
4 for sure, but as far as like action ratio is probably somewhat higher. I would assume that this deck runs a higher ratio of actions than normal. I know typically it's like 7 is the max, or thought to be the max, right? Something like that.
It's really dependent. So this
Okay.
is where we get into the individual flavor of the player.
Okay.
I have no problem running double-digit actions and feeling totally fine about it. It's just as long as you understand why the actions exist in your deck, that's where things get hokey. Just
Gotcha.
going a little heavy on the action side is kind of a Tam Cardwell special. I love running quote unquote too many actions and too many assets.
Got it. Okay. All right.
I
fair
love
enough.
it. I love it.
All right. So then we got Ultimate Decruster. So you got it's a combo weapon combo. Combo enhance is discard a rival momentum. Enhance, normal enhance is your next attack is +2 damage. So I like this is like that second piece. If you're running just weapons. So I don't. It's a high block, which I don't think we have any other high. Oh no, we do. Wonder Bread Slicer's a high block as well. So
right. Ooh, you're jumping ahead. I love it. I love it.
So I do like that, and the block value is what you need to check on top of the difficulty, right?
Say that again.
If it's a 2 high block, you would need, and this is like the second block I'm playing this turn, you would need to check a 3, right?
So it would be the if this is the second card that we're playing on the turn, right?
Yep.
We are blocking here. It would be the speed of the destroyer, which is 4, plus the block modifier, which is 2, plus 1 for every other card in the card pool. So I've got this face down card representing whatever card.
Okay, gotcha. So the lower number for block is better. Okay.
Correct.
Just want to clarify. Good deal. All right. So yeah, I like this. I feel like combos are going to be valuable in the deck, period. Combo enhance, discard 1 card. So for Smucker's Sticky Helping, it is a 3 cost. Is it cost, right?
Difficulty?
3 difficulty.
And control. Difficulty is the top. How tough is it to play?
Yep.
And then what do you give after you check the card, right? Difficulty.
So checking is the action. Control is the number.
Check. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So difficulty 3, control 3, combo enhance. The combo has to be after a weapon. Discard 1 card, add 1 combo or weapon attack from your discard pile to your hand. Oh, okay. And then normal enhance is if this attack deals damage, draw a card. I like that. I like this. I like this deck. This seems my speed. Then we've got our
Let's not worry about foundations.
Cool.
I just want to worry about how we're killing people.
Gotcha.
Okay, so it looks like you are a big fan of all 4 of these, yes?
I do. I like them, but I'm curious what is in the rest of the card pool for sure.
Okay, so if we look at the things that combo with weapon, right? This is the only one that combos with a combo. Okay. So now we need cards that have the combo keyword, that have the weapon keyword and preferably the combo keyword. So this does not have weapon. This does not have weapon. This does not have weapon. This has combo, but it only combos with a punch. When we jump back up top, we're running literally none inside of PB&J's kit.
Bye-bye.
So it's gone.
Yep.
We've got this one, which is a weapon combo. That seems great. This one is a weapon combo. That seems great. This one is a weapon. That seems great. Cool. We get to look at all these cards now.
Yep.
We've got charge flash range. Nope. We've got weapon. Sure, we can look at that. Weapon combo. Ooh. And then charge weapon. We get to keep this.
Well, this is, I would argue that cheese and crackers, it's a combo with a charge, which looking up here, we do not run innately any charges, right?
Perfect. It's gone.
Gone.
And so now we get to take and look. These are now the cards that we get to look at. And so once again, we get to look at these other. Excuse me. This one is a Fury Punch. Yeah, it's gone too. We now get to take a look at these and read them, remembering back at what happens with these 4 cards and which ones look fine, which ones look interesting.
Okay. All right. So we've got Egg Salad Sandwich. It is a 5 difficulty with a 3 control. This is just it's powerful 2, which basically that buffs the damage by discarding momentum. For every momentum you discard, buffs it by that number, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So that's nice to be able to use our momentum if we're building that. It's the first powerful, right?
Top, I believe
it's the
that we do not have a single thing that gets rid of our momentum.
Yeah,
we do not have a momentum pay for all of these.
So maybe
in my eyes,
just for that. Yeah. Yep. I like that.
That extra resource.
Yep. So just going into looking at these, I'm kind of looking for like a cheap, easy to play or valuable weapon. So what do we got for just weapons? Okay, we'll just keep going. Sorry. So looking at Watermelon Slice, it's a 4 difficulty, 3 control. It's a charge, face up. Don't know what that means. Flash. Don't know what that means, but it's a weapon. So I'll let you explain the face up and flash to me. But it's a weapon, so I like it so far.
So face up is a keyword that they're trying to play around with in this playtest stuff, and all that means is when it goes into your momentum, it gets added face up. It's that static text that's on the card itself.
Okay.
And then flash means it doesn't have an enhanced step. So you play this, you ask if you have any responses, I ask if I have any responses, and then we just go straight to blocks. So as opposed to your normal Universe's turn where we get to play all of our cool foundations and our character's abilities, this is just, hey, catch this. Block it.
Yep. Okay. So this would be good in a deck that runs like attacks that say like your next attack gets, right? Because you're giving it that. Okay, gotcha.
Absolutely. Or a deck like the deck that I'm enamored with is Taco Bell Toller, right? Enhance commit, your attacks get +2 speed for the rest of the combat phase. That just happens.
Gotcha.
Well, now this is a 5 low for 5 that I just didn't have to do any. Not on this one, but on a previous one.
They don't get to enhance and modify it, so that's
correct.
Neat. All right, I'm down. All right, so seems good. It's a weapon. It's going to proc a lot of my other combo pieces here. So we'll hold on to that.
Is it's got this enhance in the momentum. So after you smack them with it, it goes to your momentum. And for you wanting to play all these big long combo strings, you flip this guy in your momentum, and then your next weapon attack this turn gets -2 difficulty.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense.
This is a combo piece in order to make these other cards, these top 4 cards, more relevant.
Got it. All right. So I need to finish reading the cards, Dane. All right, here we go. So just so everyone knows, we've got if this card is added to your momentum, add it face up. I'm assuming that's just like rules text for the face up keyword. Enhance momentum. So that means that this enhance is only playable when it's in the momentum, correct?
Absolutely. And face up.
And face up, yeah, because you have to flip it as a cost. Your next charge or weapon attack this turn gets -2 difficulty. All right. Yep. And then Deadlock Response. Deadlock is when you're at half life or less?
Deadlock is when your opponent has 11 or more foundations.
Gotcha.
So as soon as they have such a crazy wall that they can defend themselves super hard, this Deadlock is, hey, I'd like to end the game now. Right?
Gotcha.
Draw 3 cards after if my opponent has 11 foundations.
Got it.
How rad.
That's pretty tight. I like this card. All right. Yeah. So we'll stick with that. That's gonna stick around. Then we've got Selection of Meat. It's a 5 difficulty with a 3 control. Powerful 2. Why is this one red and the other one was gray? Just
because they are playtest cards and they have not gone through and fixed the coloring.
Just wanted to make sure there wasn't differentiation in the rules or anything. So powerful 2, it's a weapon like that. It's a combo weapon. So in order to get that combo effect, well, let's finish reading the card, Dane. Here we go. First enhance. Draw a card for each foundation in your card pool. Okay. And then, I'm sorry, my brain just went off on how many foundations do we have that have a weapon. But then combo enhance. So if we have a weapon preceding this, the next 2 weapon cards you play this turn ignore progressive difficulty. That seems pretty dope. So I think that this card is good if we've got some foundations that have weapon. So I'm going to cheat and look a little bit, and we do.
Please do.
So I'm digging this. I'm digging this card, and it gives us another use for our momentum as we build that.
Absolutely.
So looking at actually, if it comes down to it, I'm looking at selection of meat over egg salad sandwich.
Cool.
If we had to like choose, but we'll keep them both for now.
Love that.
All right, loving it. Then going into rice stick noodle. It's a four difficulty with the 3 control. It's a weapon and combo foundation, so that's great. Combo enhance. This attack gains stun 2, another use for momentum. That basically lets you tap down, or not tap. It makes you. Is it exhaust or tap or what is it? Commit.
Commit, and it actually doesn't cost a momentum.
Stun doesn't.
Stun does not cost a momentum.
Just happens.
It just says enhance : your opponent commits blank foundations.
Gross. Cool. All right. So this attack gains stun. This attack just so if you have played it after a foundation card, this attack gains stun 2. You may build 1 foundation from your card pool. So you just get to, if you played that foundation, you can then just move it, and that lowers the progressive difficulty going forward. Correct?
Correct. Yeah, because progressive difficulty only counts the current cards in the card pool.
That seems pretty good, especially if we're trying to get weapons in the card pool to combo off of. Keeping that difficulty low seems solid, so I like this a lot. Deadlock enhance. This is the 11 or more foundations, correct?
Correct.
Add all foundations committed due to this attack stun ability to the bottom of your rival's deck. Seems super good too. I like that. Getting rid of opponent foundations makes me happy. So I like that. Are there foundations that have like, I don't know what to call it, like barrier or like stuff like where you can't affect them, or is there just foundations that say if your opponent tries to do something to your foundation, flip this over instead?
There's some of that Cold War of if you try to do this to my card, I do this thing instead. There's pure negate. There are some cards that say that they can't be destroyed, right? But 9 times out of 10, cards can be committed.
Gotcha. Okay.
But there's if there's a card like that, it's normally there's a big punish for you committing my cards. If we look at, I want to say there's definitely one. Yeah, so like this one, right? Coleslaw left uneaten. Response flip. After this card is committed to your rival's ability, draw a card, right? And it's playable committed. So this card gets stunned. I flip it. I get to draw my 1.
Oh, cool. All right. So just a little bit of reactionary stuff there. That's cool.
Correct. Very little barrier.
All right. So last attack here. We got Bones for Broth. It's a 4 difficulty with a 3 control. Enhance, add 1 asset or weapon foundation from your discard pile to the beginning of your card pool or your hand. So this is probably just too big brain for me right now with my knowledge, but looking at what the value in that is in this build, what do you see that would make you think this is good? I want to do this.
This card, he says discard a non-action card, right?
Yep.
And so when I play my Bones for Broth, I can pick up whatever I want and then just instantly dump it to go find my sliced into triangles. Every time that powerful Brooding Juggernaut wants to play his slice to steal one of your cards, he goes down a hand size.
Gotcha. Okay.
This card just replaces that card in the hand. Or we take and we've got I'm gonna move it down to
foundation too, right?
We build the weapon into our card pool, and now on 2 attacks, we have the selection of meats combo ready.
Yeah.
Get to draw 1. My next 2 weapons don't count. We go Wonder Blood Slicer, and kill them.
Digging it. All right. I like that. Cool. Won me over with the explanation, Tam. Appreciate it.
No problem. Okay.
So now looking at go for it.
These are all of our choices. These are all of our choices. My question is in your opinion, out of, and I'm going to move these guys up now. Yeah. What is the most valuable attack? What's the attack that you want to see the absolute most, just card text wise?
Ooh. So question, if I add a foundation to the beginning of my card pool, that gets played out, right? I basically got it for free without having to check.
Are you asking, does it add to your staging area at the end of the turn?
Yes.
It does not.
It doesn't. So it gets added to my card.
Okay. Exclusively to do some cool stuff. So this is a King of Foes card. And this character destroys one of our foundations to build a foundation from our card pool to our staging area.
Gotcha. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's look. I think
So she gets to, or King of Foe, excuse me, Royalty King,
Mhm.
King of Foe gets to do this cool, I get to have it because of how Bones of Broth and that character combined together.
Okay. I mean, I think I want to see. I really want to see Bones for Broth or Watermelon Slice, probably. Like those are
Okay.
the ones that are gonna start me out, correct?
I love that. Okay, so when we talk about man, this character is I love the UFS so much. Okay, so when we come to your focus as a new player,
Yep.
the main thing that you should think about is how do I kill people, right?
Yep. Okay.
And I want to end the game. I want to think. Let's take it back to Flesh and Blood. How you were talking to me about the main thing Dorinthia wants to do is these reactions,
Yep.
right? And all the reactions is, hey, unga bunga, pump a big number, right?
Right.
The cool thing about this character is he gets that pump by playing out these specific combos. The absolute best card to get a ton of damage is not only Wonder Bread Slicer, because it is imagine every single one of your attacks has the potential to have an additional +2 speed because of what your character says,
Mhm.
but you could do this enhance on every single attack that you can as long as he is ready. He is not
Mhm.
committed. And so this is a 6 low for 4 that if you played Sliced into Triangles, you have sealed 2 of their cards, and so it gets an additional 2 damage. And if you combo with it, you've sealed 2 more cards because of its own ability. And so it is a 6 low for 8 damage on a essentially 5 diff because it has to combo.
Ah.
Right?
Okay. Cool. I'm with you.
So now that we're thinking about the numbers
Yep.
as well as the abilities, this card I think is the absolute best card inside of this particular deck, inside of this particular character.
Got it. Okay. No, that totally makes sense.
It's the best, and it is a combo piece. I think we should
Mhm.
play it at a 3 of. That's how
Okay.
I feel.
What full
Right?
play sets are for in this game?
Full play sets are 4, correct?
Okay. 3 of just
Yeah.
because you want to see it, but you don't want to see it outside of when you need it, or what? Why not just a 4 of?
It is not a leadoff attack. We
Yep.
pretty much only get the value off of it as for being a combo.
Perfect.
Correct?
Okay. Yep. That was my rationale for my thoughts on not wanting. So when you were asking about like what's the most important card to see a lot of, I thought you were basically asking me like what are your 4 ofs in this.
My apologies. My apologies. No,
you're good. You're good. I'm with you. Your rationale makes total sense, Tam. You keep telling me what I'm doing here.
Let me take it all the way back. Let me take it back one more step before we start talking about how many copies of things that we have in the deck.
Yep.
From the research that I have done and realize that this format is just as new to me as it is to you. When
Mhm.
Jasko on that office said, hey, 50 cards, I was not making 50 card decks. I've
Okay.
only played with 60, and there was a format way back in the day called Turbo that played with 40, and that format was not very fun. But anywho, we have a 50 card format, and the research that I have done is on average, we want approximately 16 attacks. I think that 16 is a totally fine number. You can go a little less if you want to be a little less aggressive. You go a little more if you want to be a little more aggressive. When I take and I play Taco Bell, I believe that I'm playing 18 or 19 attacks because this character clears a card from their card pool.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And so I'm allowed to play slightly bigger strings. With
Makes
that said,
sense.
you have a card over here that says your next 2 cards ignore progressive difficulty.
Mhm.
So it's possible to play a really aggressive line because this card says that they ignore progressive. This card says that they get -2 difficulty, which is way better than clearing 1.
Yep.
Right? Okay, so with that in mind, we're gonna put this back at the 3 of just to play with it. My next question is let's pretend that we do not see our super cool combos. Let's plan for the worst.
You're right.
What are the best options to just poke with?
Just to
A
poke.
singular attack that you slam it down and you're totally fine if it gets blocked or not blocked. The lead in attack. You've got all of these cool combos.
Yep.
If you had to pick one of these cards to see as your first attack, what would it be?
As a first attack, all right, I'm gonna go. I might have to go with egg salad sandwich just because it's a 5 diff, and being able to throw that down first as your first attack in the chain seems pretty valuable. Just because it's a weapon, it's gonna start that off, and then it's also powerful. So if you want to maybe, because that pumps damage, right? So if you've got
Mm-hmm.
your effectively 7 speed, it's mid, so they can
Yeah.
block it fairly easily. But being able to pump that with the powerful, if they're not blocking mid, because what's that considered? Like if you block high on a mid attack, half blocking? Is that what you call it?
Off block, off block, half block, either work.
Okay,
Not
sounds good.
a full block. I
Right.
don't know. This is not a great terminology.
Fair enough. So if they are off blocking or half blocking, being able to use a momentum for something and be able to just effectively poke another one through, even if it gets blocked, like that seems pretty valuable.
I love that. So you think this is the best option?
As far as lead off, that or Bones for Broth, just because the leader's ability to, like, being able to enhance and then add that asset. Because so are actions considered assets, or are assets totally separate?
Sets are these super cool green cards that we haven't quite gotten to yet.
Okay.
No.
Card pool in your hand. I kind of like Bones for Broth because it enables your other weapon combos as well. I guess it only really enables the weapon for selection of meat, so maybe not that valuable all the time. Yeah, I guess I'd probably say egg salad sandwich.
Okay, I love that. I think the correct answer is egg salad sandwich, watermelon slice, because we just are super fine with this thing just poking them and going to our momentum. If they discard a block for it, that's totally fine. That's one less block that they use for Wonderblood Slicer, which is a very high concept, right? I wasn't expecting you to catch that one.
Yeah. Okay.
And the other one out of his kit is Ultimate Decruster. I love Ultimate Decruster as the first attack that I play.
Okay.
Because it just says, as a basic enhance, your next attack is +2 damage.
And
so inside of our character, it's +2/+2.
Which is pretty dope. Okay. Yep, I'm with you. I'm with you on it.
6 for 4. So all 3 of these are fantastic openers.
Got
right?
It. Yep.
So my question now is which of these 3 openers do you like the best? Is it still egg salad sandwich, or do you like the other ones? Realize that egg salad sandwich you cannot combo with Wonder Bread slicer. So when we do this, boop boop, or excuse me, boop boop, this does not have the combo keyword, and so this is we no longer get to seal the last 2 foundations.
Gotcha, and you would need to. That makes sense. Okay, looking at it that way, I definitely think that watermelon slice is probably my favorite opener. And then Ultimate Decruster right behind watermelon slice.
Okay.
And then
so here's what we're going to do. Because we have so many cards and we only get to play 16, we're just going to get rid of salad. If anything, we'll toss it back in at a spicy one of, because one of the coolest things that we get to do, and we haven't even talked about it, is this guy. If I absolutely want to, I could just discard it and go pick up my weapon attack.
Oh.
So the craziest thing is all of these weapon cards that we're playing, I could just go discard a card and go pick them up if I absolutely want them.
Okay.
Yeah. And so for that reason, we're just going to play 4 of this guy, because it's 4 extra copies of whatever attack that I want it to. Whatever last attack I have. It does not combo with the rest of my deck, but to lead off into my next turn feels great.
That's fair. Okay.
With me?
Yeah,
okay, so we're gonna go grab 3 watermelon slicers. We're gonna grab 3 decrusters. And these are our main opening cards. Is these 6 cards, 6 of our 16 are our main opening cards.
Got it.
And then as you are testing, if you like this card more than this card, maybe cut this down to a 2 of and pump this up to the 4 of, or vice versa.
Right.
Okay.
If
you find that you don't like this card, it's not synergizing at all, cut them all and put this guy back in. Right?
Sounds good.
Okay. So now that we have this, I'm going to bring this guy back over here. Let's talk about GIF Spreader. It is a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mid for 6 on a 4 difficulty attack, 5 if we're going to do the combo, right? With a 1 mid block, this card is stats the card.
Right. I was just going to say, just the 1 mid block and like the diff being low and being able to give your next attack. No, this attack, right?
Yeah.
This attack
Yeah.
is
This
plus
is a
2.
this is a
That's
7 mid
gross.
for 6.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That seems like you're just throwing 3 or 4 of that in.
Yep. I completely agree. So we've got 3 here, 3 here, 3 here, 4 here, excuse me. 3 here. So 3, 6, 9, 12,
19.
16.
19. Oh, 16. Did I do that totally wrong? 12, 15. Right? 3, 3.
3, 6, 9, 12.
16.
And then the 4 is
You're
16.
right. Basic math. I got this.
Okay, so from here, we could choose to take and cut this guy down by 1 and add in 1 or 2 spicy 1-ofs if you absolutely love it.
For testing purposes, I like running close to play sets and then doing my spice later. So
Okay.
We'll keep her there
So
for
let's
now.
go ahead and keep it here. And this card, the Smuckers will also tell you which of these cards you like the most because it's the one that you're going to go grab.
Makes sense. That's good.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to take and get rid of all this. We have an attack lineup.
I like it.
Okay, so before we move on, let's think about what our perfect line is, right? Because we might have to go back to the building table, which I hope we don't have to do because I've already deleted everything. But a perfect line could easily be watermelon slices into either of these 2 cards, right?
Yep.
Either of these 2 into this to set up my last turn. So 1, 2, 3, and then this is the setup card. So on a 4, on a 5, on a 6, on a 6. So if I check perfectly, I check a 5 on my 4, feels great. I check a 5 here, feels great. Check a 6, commit 1. Check a 6, commit 1. Follow me?
Yep, I'm with you.
And so just a real quick check of what does my difficulty curve look like?
Right. Okay.
Now, we do have a small problem, though. And that problem is, and I'm going to steal this, we are doing all this math assuming that we are not trying to play one of these bad boys in the in-between. Luckily, this card does remove when it's done, but let's pretend that I do have all 4 in my hand, right?
Okay. Yep.
When I take and I play this on a 4, this has flash. I don't even get the chance to play it. So we're good.
Right. So
I play this on.
So you play these from hand, or do they need to be played out into your pool and then staged before using its enhance?
What a great question. So the only thing that exists inside of my staging area are the foundations, which are the gray ones, and the assets, which are the green ones.
Gotcha.
And assets are so good. The only difference between an asset and a foundation is assets are so good you can't commit them to pass checks.
Yep, I'm with you. Yep, just like weapons in Yoshimitsu. I gotcha.
Correct. And then actions are traps or special abilities that you play from your hand.
Okay.
And so, yes, you're correct. We're going to be playing these out from our hand. So now our perfect line is I've played this on a 4. I can't play it in hand, so we don't have to worry about it. I play this guy on a 5. I then go back and play this on a 4. We're still under that normal 5 diff category, so we're fine. We play this on the 6. We now go back and play this on the 5 because hopefully I've picked another one up off of my character, and we're still fine.
Okay.
Play this on the 6. Play this on the 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sense?
Yep.
So as we are building out our lines, we have to make sure that we keep in track of if we had made a character that was exclusively looking at 6 difficulty attacks, as well as trying to play this foundation, maybe our attack lineup doesn't work.
Right.
So before we start getting into our foundations and how we're going to start passing these checks, we have to keep that in mind while we're building.
Okay, gotcha. So that's nice that it doesn't really change your curve because this removes itself, but it does affect how many foundations you need to anticipate tapping on average while you're playing your line.
Correct. And the numbers that we're going to be tapping specifically in this format is either 5 or 3. There are some outliers that are 4. There are some outliers that are 6s. But that is that is not the normal, right? For sure. All right. Normally, I like to move on from my attacks. I like to move on actually to my actions and assets because they're the outlier cards and there's the least amount of them. When we take and we look back down at what all cards we have available to us, we don't have any more actions, Sag. but we do have some assets. And so from here, let's take a look and just read what exists inside of our
Assets here.
asset options.
Yeah, so we got a 2 difficulty special utensils. It's a breaker 1. What's the breaker keyword?
Great question. After you block with this card is a response. Response after you block with this card, the next check your opponent makes to play a card gets +1 more difficult.
Or whatever that number is. Plus, if it's a breaker 2, it'd get +2 difficulty.
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
All the way up to, I believe there's like a breaker 6 on a card.
Okay.
But it's like a 6 high block or something like that.
So these are, you would need to play these, pass their check, play them into your staging area before using any of their abilities, unlike the actions that you get to just play from hand. Okay, I'm with you.
Which are surprises. Yes.
I'm with you. So, special utensils. It's a 2 difficulty with a 5 control. Enhance, commit, add the top card of your discard pile to the beginning of your card pool. This attack gets +2 or -2 damage. So discard pile matter orders. You can't.
Correct.
That doesn't make discard pile order matters. That's what I meant to say.
Yes.
All right. Okay. And then Deadlock, as the first enhance, you can commit double your weapon's attack speed and damage. Okay, I'm a fan of this just because of the aggro.
I love that. So earlier you had said the words first enhance when talking about one of these other cards.
Yep.
And so the reason that that's incorrect terminology, and I wanted to wait for now to correct it, is because we do have what are called first enhances.
Okay.
And this is just the first enhance that you as the player, the owner of this card, have to do. It does not have to be the first enhance that is played over the entire attack, but as the owner, this has to be the first one that you do.
So what's the difference in wording for that then? Because so you said there's 2 different. So there is like an actual needs to be the first enhance, and then there's one that is just like the first one that you do.
So you said on Mom Like You GIF spreader, you said first enhance, discard a card, draw 2 cards.
Oh,
but it's
I see
not
what you're saying.
first
Yeah.
enhance,
Maybe.
And so I just wanted to clarify for your sake that is not a first enhance. This one, it does have to be the first enhance. So let's imagine, right, that I played my whatever attack, and I, for some god-awful reason, have decided to pass on my first enhance. I'm choosing to pass priority. My opponent plays an enhance. I then can turn around and play this as my first enhance that I, as turn player, have decided to play. If I take and decide that as my first enhance, I play the sliced into triangles, I can then not turn around and play special utensils because it was not my first enhance.
Got it. With you.
With me?
With you.
Okay.
Cool. So, yep, that is that card that's a Deadlock first enhance. So only playable when they've got 11 or more. Seems solid. And it's a 2 mid. Seems pretty staple for being able to release half block stuff.
Or you take in at the last attack, you pump this as a little bit of extra.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. So definite
Let's
possibility.
Talk about Mason jar real quick.
Yeah.
And then I want to back to noodles or the utensils.
So this is I love this just because it's a 1. So it's a 1 difficulty with weapon, and basically just really good to lead off. And it's got a 5 control. So unique weapon response. After you play a charge attack, it gets +1 speed. You may discard the top card of your rival's deck. Response commit. After your charge attack deals damage, ready 1 foundation. So immediately going up, looking, I've got Watermelon Slice as one of my staple openers. That is a charge, and that is it. So
Correct.
I don't know if I absolutely love this card, despite my initial hype on the stats.
So the only reason to play this card would be that this flash attack randomly gets +1 speed randomly, as well, and so making it hit, meaning it goes to my momentum, which means that my later on weapon string gets a little cheaper. The other important thing is this is a weapon, and so it can combo with my weapon cards because this does not care if it's a weapon attack. It cares if it is a weapon.
Correct. So my only hesitancy to running this then is it's great that it is only a 1 difficulty or 1 difficulty, right?
Correct. Yep. Difficulty is the top left corner.
Yep. So
as well as a 1 block modifier, which is insane.
One
Holy
block,
cow.
yeah, and I
What
don't
a
even know
crazy
what I'm running for high blocks right now. I got
We don't
one,
even have to worry about blocks.
two,
Blocks will be the
alright,
very last thing that we do.
cool. Just a sanity check on blocks. So,
Correct.
oh, that's one thing we actually didn't cover in FaB was like the block sanity check as well. Warrior typically doesn't need to worry about it too much. Yeah, okay. So I do like that. It seems I'm not. So all right, this is my thing with like I'm gonna want to play this early in my card pool,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like that's like almost like a waste of a check. Oh, it's almost better if I like want to like try and get like a second combo off like later.
Right.
So like
Yeah.
that could be value, like playing this is like my third one and only having to check a 4. So
For sure.
so yeah,
But then if so the reason we're using it is for the combo, which means I still have to put it in my card pool, and then I get to try and combo out. And if it's the 3rd or 4th card, this card's still just as expensive if this was anything else.
right. Okay.
So I completely agree with you. I don't think you need it. The number one most important word on this card of Mason Jar Lemonade is actually the unique keyword.
Okay.
Unique says that you can only have one of it in your staging area, that named card.
Okay.
And the reason that that's important is if we go back up to special utensils, it does not have that word.
It does not.
Which means I'm allowed to play 4 of it.
Right.
And it is possible for me to take, and with special utensils, as long as I have the cards in my card pool or in my discard pile, I can give something plus or minus 8 damage.
Yep, I'm digging it.
But it means that I'm putting 4 cards in my card pool, which means I'm pretty much not blocking anything for the rest of the game. Or the rest of that turn, excuse me.
Right.
With me?
Yep, I'm with you. So you got
if you were to play one of these two, you could play just utensils, and you could play it at a 1 all the way up to 4, depending on how you feel.
Okay.
I think starting out, just to see if you like it, I think 2 is a totally fine number.
2 of? All right. Seems fair.
Yeah. Normally we would go over actions now, but hey, we're playing 4 slice because that's what our character says.
Right.
Up next, we've got our foundations. Okay, so as we take and we look at our foundations, I always, and I'm going to see if I have room. I've got this cute little thing. It's very big. It's so big. This is going to mess up everything. Hey, look at this. So when I take it, I look at, we'll move all of this stuff over. Just get this out of here.
Yeah, we don't need the other character cards, do we?
We do not. So when I take and I look at Universus cards, I put them in for. Why are you being lame? Oh, I'll just delete you and redo it. When I take and I look at Universus cards, I put them into 4 piles: aggressive cards, defensive cards, flow cards, and disruption cards. Aggressive cards, and obviously all of this is subjective of how you feel about it. This is just me being able to sit down and lay out my deck and see what my highest priorities of my deck are, right?
Yep.
And it's not just for the foundations. Honestly, it's for all of them, right? Oh, I lost my character. So when I take and I look at PB and J, my question is if you had to stick him into one of these categories, is he aggressive, defensive, flow, or disruption? Which card is he? Well, he gives +2 or -2 speed. He picks up the key action that I want, and he draws cards. In my opinion, the thing that he does the absolute best is he makes my deck work.
Yep.
He's a flow card.
Yeah.
Right? When we take and we look at Sliced into Triangles, this card says literally, my opponent's not allowed to play cards. It's a disruption card. And so you take and you look at what do these cards do, and you can either take inside of your foundations and hedge your bets and really double down on exactly what it is that you want to do. Hey, I'm trying to play the most lame disruptive deck of all time, and just go for that option.
Nope.
Or
okay. No.
You take and say, hey, I would like to patch my holes and find the offense and defensive cards. Does that make sense?
Yep, totally makes sense. So
okay,
I am going to, just because I do have a bit of a hard backstop at 8:30.
Okay.
I'm going to, because I know you're a teacher, so I'm actually gonna give myself homework for you. And I'm gonna put this together. and we're gonna reconnect, and we're gonna see how I did, kind of picking the foundations, get a little grade action if you're up for it.
I would absolutely love that.
I like
That
it.
sounds amazing.
All right.
Well, hey, before we go, because I'm gonna make this his own video, Dane, hit me with the YouTube channel one more time.
Yeah, so you can find us on YouTube, // I don't know, I get them confused. Outcasts Haven, no special characters, no space. You'll notice that we've got lots of different types of content. We right now cover Dragon Ball Super and Flesh and Blood primarily. Started with Flesh and Blood. It's kind of been our bread and butter. No pun intended with the leader that we just built here. But we've been focusing on FaB. Been getting a little heavier into DBS just because that competitive scene's been pretty consistent and fun to look at. But with the My Hero Academia coming out, pretty much all of us on the channel love My Hero Academia and just like anime in general. We're big fans. So really hype. And a couple of us actually played Universus when we were just, grabbing new games to try out, or UFS at the time, actually rebranded as Universus. But love the game. Super excited that MHA is coming to this engine, just because it's a fantastic engine to play in. And just trying to brush up, get up to speed. So when we're putting out content, because that's going to be our third game, we think we're going to limit it there until we get our feet under us for those 3 games there, because that's quite a bit to bite off. But yeah,
that is totally fair.
Yeah, looking at up in that. And we actually, just for funsies, because we love anime, we actually started a black coffee and anime podcast where we're going through MHA right now in prep for this release from Jasco.
How exciting!
Yeah, and we're actually doing our 3rd episode this week that'll be releasing, where it's going to cover like the first 8 episodes or something like that of season 2, and we're just basically shooting the shoot and talking it. So yeah, check us out. Love to have you guys join us, and thanks for having me on your stream, Tam.
Yeah, no problem. Dane, it's been an absolute pleasure. I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate all the Flesh and Blood tips. And I can wax poetic about Universes literally all day long. Have fun with your appointment.
Yeah.
And I'm excited next week, possibly the week after, to see what you come up with homework wise.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, man. I just ended.
Do you know how to save this table?
I saved your little tool here already.
If you just go up to game